from GIS Analyst to paid WebGIS developer in 6 months. I want to show you how you do that without actually getting lost in all of these tutorials that you find out there. If it's Udemy, if it's YouTube, if it's, I don't know, 1,000 things. So let me show you how you really get started there. Before, who here has watched already endless of WebGIS tutorials and still feels like I don't get it all together? Who's that? It was 100% me in the beginning. Okay, please type it here into our chat. If you say 2, I'm totally new. Okay, I'm totally not guilty of this. It's 100% fine. Put a 2 inside our chat. If it's a 3, I know a lot, but I need to get it all together now. Please put that there. Okay, or comment just more when you think you have to. You're in a totally different position. Okay, but of course, if you're 1 or 2, that's perfect. All of you guys are 100% right here. Okay, so at first, welcome. I'm Christian Lutz. I built WebGIS applications for 15 years, actually do programming for 20 years around, and helped hundreds of GIS professionals to get paid or getting paid doing it. Okay, so what you will learn today is why WebGIS development is in massive demand. Okay, and why it 100% makes sense to go deep into that if you feel a passion for that. If you don't feel a passion for that, turn off this now and go and do something else for yourself. Find your way. I really mean that. If you think like, hey, yeah, I enjoy programming, I enjoy GIS, and WebGIS can be the next step for me, then you're absolutely right here. Okay. I will show you the roadmap to your first complex WebGIS application, even if you are a beginner. Okay. And of course, also perfect for intermediate people here. So how you get this all together finally. And of course, I want to show you how to turn that skill into income. Sounds good? Then let's go. So who is this for today? This webinar is perfect for you. If you are a GIS environmental scientist or a GIS professional environmental scientist, urban planner, stuff like that, professional that feels a little bit unfulfilled currently, maybe you have a calling like going deeper into development, you enjoy coding already and you want to build real WebGIS applications, not just maps or static maps and exports. You're serious about moving into GIS dev roles and earning with freelance even. Okay, that sounds like you. You're 100% right here. So who is this? So when I see what do I mean when I say stuck or unfulfilled with GIS in jobs and freelance? Most probably you have seen a lot of positions, even more since AI, asking for developer positions, even more. It's crazy, right? Should have been less, but it's getting actually more now. And you should go in and do it right. Okay. Not just write coding. I know you guys are for sure doing that. You make sure your stuff works, but you can make it even more efficient in just a couple of weeks. Okay. And really understand what's going on. Okay. So when you see most probably a lot of positions asking for JavaScript, APIs, web skills, and you're not fully confident in that yet. You like coding, but your current role barely lets you use it. You're jumping between tutorials, blocks, maybe documentations, but still don't feel ready to ship a real app. If that's you, come to me within the next slides. Take a pen and a paper, okay? There will be a lot of cool stuff that you might want to note down. First, about me, we have a lot of new people, so I want to say a few words quickly. What is my journey with WebGIS applications? I have built about more than 100, maybe 200, maybe 300, I don't know it anymore, real world WebGIS applications. Okay, for more than 15 years, traveling a lot with my family, thanks to the skills and help others to gain freedom, to get into the career that they actually wanted. Okay. And here are a couple of applications that I have created. Like this is one that I did with WWF Germany. They wanted to have an application that they can share with non-GIS people, like clicking a few buttons instead of using QGIS. This is what they wanted to have. And then seeing the zonal statistics and stuff like that. This is here I created a terrain for Cesium. Okay. Like, with lighting effects and also mesh decimation and cool break lines inside that. Okay. So that the terrain becomes extremely fine. And and then this is a cool oblique viewer where you can even measure inside with photogrammetric methods, really cool stuff. But of course, there was with the bragging so far, but I was not always like this. Okay. I started like you. Yeah. Maybe you didn't study GIS in Berlin, but for sure you have learned it somewhere. But I did it in Berlin. I was unsure of what should I do actually with GIS. I liked it, but yeah, I was not sure like where should I go exactly. And then I learned coding also in the university. I love it, but the structure was crazy. Okay. The teacher, the lecturer was showing like everything on the side of programming. Here's a variable. This is a function. This is OP. This is that. This. In the end, yeah, I couldn't read and write code, all of the code that I wanted so easily. Okay. But yeah, let me tell you a bit more about about my story and what happened then and why you should actually listen to me. So a classmate then asked me for, yeah, if I could create a WebGIS application for his company. Okay. I started and it felt totally impossible because they wanted to have a lot of cool stuff inside, of course, like editing, pop-ups, tables, and like that. Of course, the editing stuff is going to their database and all of this kind of stuff. Okay. After 3 months, or yeah, I almost gave up, but then I found finally, or I went through endless tutorials. Okay. Like was impossible to connect the dots. But after a long time, I found out, I figured a structure that changed everything for me. So I want to show you that in a few minutes as well. So I finished the project, felt so good. I felt so confident because I wanted to learn this. I decided at one point, I want to learn it like this, that I can really read every code and write every code that I want to, create every application that I want to. Okay. And still AI is not that far in the next few years, even that it can do it. Okay. So you're not early, you're not late, whatever. You're exactly right here. So I finished the project, felt so cool. I used the same strategy to learn JavaScript, Python, C++ very quickly. Today, I will basically show you a couple of things in JavaScript, but you can use this. I started with Visual Basic at that time, okay? You can use that for JavaScript, Python, C++, just adding pointers to that, for example, but it's always the same programming elements, okay? Yeah, this was then from that point on, it was easy to land cool jobs for me doing freelancing projects. These people, they came to me over and over again and again. So that was really cool. And yeah, I built a lot of apps, launched my own company, started teaching that to others. Now I live my life on my own terms. Okay. To have, yeah, to do remote work, travel the world whenever we want to, and have the freedom, okay, and being fulfilled with the cool stuff that I'm allowed to do. My next question to you guys is, how many of you have thought about learning WebGIS, but yeah, didn't know where to start? Okay, please type a 1 if that is you. And if you want, you can, of course, comment more. If you are new, that's most probably a 1. If you have a bit more together, let's say type a 2. So why do most people stay stuck? Most of us, we have tried, including me, YouTube rabbit holes, random Udemy courses, copying, pasting sample codes, going through endless tutorials, blogs, stuff like that. Okay. But still we couldn't build what's in our head. Okay. Does it sound familiar? I'm pretty sure most of the people do exactly that. And it's not your fault. Okay. It's not that you're not smart. It's just that you have never been given a clear roadmap on what to learn exactly. Because these YouTube things here, YouTube rabbit hole, also Udemy, copying, pasting code, this is not how you actually learn. And sometimes often they show just a little piece of it. You might do, like I have done, like GIS desktop programming before, but WebGIS is just a bit different. Okay. And in YouTube, you just get little pieces. So let me show you guys how you bring that together. Okay. So let's look at that one shift that changes everything. Okay. And if you follow simply a clear, structured roadmap to WebGIS development, even without programming background like computer science or whatever, okay, you can build real apps and unlock real paid opportunities in GIS in months, not in years. Okay, I know a lot of people of you have tried things for years, and I totally get this. But there's a real structure. If you follow a roadmap, clear roadmap, step-by-step path, you can do this really in a few months. Basically, I told you here 6 months, the front-end stuff, back-end stuff, and having a hero at nailed can be done in 3 months. This is what most of my people do in my WebGIS Pro Academy. And then the other 3 months latest, they have their first freelance gigs. Okay. This is usually how it goes. So this means you don't need to be a tech genius. Okay. No one was from the beginning. No one was born like this and they were a tech genius. Like imagine a baby thinking about programming, stuff like that. I don't think that's true. You don't need to learn everything, just the right things that connect it all. I know you will see a lot of things like, hey, you must know React and Angular and Vue and all of the WebGIS libraries. No, this is not how you can start it because React relies on HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You must know them before, but I will go into that in a few minutes. Okay, you just need the right roadmap. That's everything. This one ship makes everything else possible for you. Okay. I know we have a lot of new people here currently to WebGIS, so let's go into that one. This is how I started learning WebGIS. So what is WebGIS? Citation from Esri. Simply put, WebGIS is a pattern. The fuck? Or architectural approach for implementing a modern GIS. Yeah. I read it fully, okay? Usually I stop here, but powered by web services, standard services that deliver data capabilities and connect components. What the shit? Okay, this is the stuff that you usually read and I have read out there. Okay, stop with that. Okay, let me give you a simple explanation of what a WebGIS basically is. Okay, and then I will show you the roadmap and how everything comes together. So WebGIS are GIS applications that run in browsers. Okay, and shows our data for analysis, visualization, editing, decision making, saving money, saving time, a lot of stuff like that eventually. Okay, so these are the features, but eventually people pay you actually if you save them time, money, and yeah, keeping them from doing risky stuff. Okay, so often for a specific purpose, like the one that I've shown you with WWF Germany, for zonal statistics, for landmines, asset management systems, and stuff like that. And it takes data from a server, which is simply a computer, which is connected to the internet. Okay, this is not more than this. It's just a server. Can be your computer that you're sitting in front of right now. Yeah, and you can even make, I didn't do that, your smartphone as a server, but yeah, don't do that. It might not be powerful enough, but maybe it's fine for starting. But can also leverage data, of course, directly from your computer. You can take a shapefile, drag it into your WebGIS applications, and there are cool libraries in JavaScript that reads a shapefile and you just push it into your favorite WebGIS library. Okay. The big misunderstanding though, you might think I already know GIS or even WebGIS tools. What is the benefit of becoming good at WebGIS and development? For that, let's start with that one. The world is built on WebGIS. Okay, Google Maps, Uber, real estate applications, weather applications, agricultural applications, disaster management applications, even mobile apps. They are using WebGIS concepts and systems. Okay, these tools seem magical, but behind the scenes, it's simply WebGIS developers building them. Okay, so the world runs on WebGIS. Most people just don't see that. Here is, for example, Google Maps, your taxi app. This is not a nice one. Please don't create that one here. Just picked it somewhere from the web. This is a satellite viewer. Okay, your weather app, disaster dashboards for OpenStreetMap, basically all your hiking stuff or your holiday applications that have a map inside and give you like cool profiles or tell you where you should go hiking or stuff like that, where you have fun in the real world. They are basically WebGIS applications, real estate applications, and logistics, and all of these kind of stuff. Okay. So what makes WebGIS different is you can easily reach a broader audience. You don't need any installation, not dependent on operating system. You can lower costs very easily by, instead of having licenses for everyone, you can create this once and everyone can log in. It's easier to use usually, okay, for specific use cases that I've shown you, that you make it really simple for people to click through that instead of using, for example, QGIS or something like that. And updates are immediately available. If programmer changed something, They push it up onto the server. You press F5 on your system and you have the new version. Okay, that's so easy. WebGIS lets companies build powerful decision-making tools they can share. Field workers, executive, governments worked together with a lot of telecommunication companies. They have, all of them have at least 5 to 10 WebGIS applications behind the scenes and using this often in their intranet. Okay, so you will never see them outside somewhere, but yeah, they can use it without installing, make it easy for them to use. Okay, this is why companies love that. Why do companies hire developers and not just tool users? Why do they love that? Okay, everyone uses maps. Few know how to make them dynamic. Okay, let's say from drag and drop tools. You have most probably heard about ArcGIS Experience Builder. Okay, go from there to custom build, which makes you in demand and high paid. These drag and drop tools or Folium, stuff like that, ArcGIS Experience Builder, they are often, of course, limited in their functionalities. If you go in, you understand that, you will become extremely high in demand, high paid, okay? Because you can solve this finally for people. From GIS Analyst or environmental scientist or planner, go to problem-solving WebGIS developer, okay? Which makes you insanely valuable and way better paid in any company, okay? So this is where your career potential in life goes or levels up and your life goes where you actually want to be. Okay? Having more flexibility, autonomy, more time for yourself, for your family, okay? And you can say from where you want to work in this world, okay? Starting as a freelancer. Not many people can do both GIS and real development, okay? So it's time for you. The illusion of simplicity. Okay, I mentioned it already a little bit. Folium Experience Builder, they're great for demos, maybe proof of concept, something like that. But often people start with, they have like 10 features, 10 functionalities that they want. If they are lucky, they can put 6 inside. Most often they even don't make it until the 6th feature or functionality, and then it's gone. Okay, the rest they actually have always they have it to implement themselves. So they are limited and there's no real custom development. Of course, you can do it if you learn it, but you have to understand really what's going on. Especially for Experience Builder, you have to know even a bit few more tools, okay, or technology. So these tools, they feel powerful until you, your company, or your clients need what doesn't exist, okay? And as a WebGIS builder, you can develop that. And that's why they get hired and earn so much more, okay, the developers. Why the time is now? You have seen WebGIS is still exploding. I have a number like from Esri side and BertGIS, like 500,000 WebGIS applications actually out there. Okay, I don't know where they get this number from, but it seems pretty right to me. So if you people know how to really build real apps, there's a huge demand, a low competition, a low real competition. Okay, and I will tell you how you overcome even that few competitions in the end. Okay. There's never been a better time to transition into WebGIS development. This is your advantage. Most people use tools. You are starting building them from now. So the voice in the head might be low, oh, development, programming. I'm not a programmer. What should I do? I don't know if I can do this. This is only for nerds or computer scientists or whatever. I will probably fail again. You guys are here. You haven't failed yet. Okay. Failing means when you just don't do it, you're here because you want to finally make it right. And you're absolutely right here. Okay. So this is where most people already quit, not because they aren't smart, but because they don't believe they can do it. It's not your fault, as I told you. It's just that you were never shown how to learn programming and development the right way. Okay. So we'll give that to you. Truth is, you don't need like React, actually. You don't need 10 frameworks. You don't even need a computer science degree or being a genius or something like that. Okay, that doesn't exist. Just if you're a curious person and you have the passion, you enjoy coding, that's it. You don't need more. Okay. All you need is just a few core tools, not more. A few core tools, of course, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, okay, for the front end, so that you can create these beautiful looking WebGIS applications one good library, take ArcGIS, Maps SDK for JavaScript, Leaflet, MapLeaver, okay, just the one that you like, and a simple learning structure that makes sense. Okay, and we'll come to that in a few minutes. Basically, how I show people programming is with my proven step-by-step system. Okay, so this is where do you put your JavaScript at all? Okay, this is the way with what you have to start simply. And then here are the basic elements. Okay, variables, data types, input, output, conditional loops, functions, object-oriented programming, modules, Ajax, asynchronicity. Okay, how you get actually data from the server, how you make requests to the server and get the data back to you, JSON objects. And these are inside are about 10, 15 elements, and that's it. Then you are able to read and write any code, become a confident developer, creating any application that you need. Okay, and debugging, pretty cool. Put your breakpoints in the code stops there, and you see exactly what's going on. And with F10, you can go really line by line and see exactly what's happening. Okay, this is really underused by a lot of people, but this is the best thing that you can do. Okay, there you see exactly the thoughts that I had in my mind that I wanted to make a program with. I was using these elements, and with debugging, you can really check line by line that it exactly does what you want. If you see it doesn't do it, usually you put a breakpoint there. Okay, it stops there. You see, okay, what didn't work? This line is not correctly. Oh, yeah, this calculation here is actually a minus, not plus. Okay, just correct it, and that's it. Okay, so with these elements here, simply concise, straightforward, and easy explanation exercises. That's it. After I learned those, I implemented my first WebGIS application with ease and joy and confidence. Okay, I was simply mapping my thoughts, my ideas into these elements, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So it's understanding how programming works, how you map your ideas into these programming elements, and that's everything that you have to understand. Okay, you don't need to memorize anything out of here. They're cool. Usually professional programmers, we have our documentations where we look things up very quickly when we forget how to write that for loop in JavaScript because you have used Python for a longer time. Then sometimes I have to look that up like in 10 seconds and then I have it again and then I can continue. Okay. So this isn't random coding learning then anymore. Okay. It really is step-by-step sequence. And exactly that sequence here is important. If you do object-oriented programming, what often happens, what people learn that right here in the beginning, before even talking about functions or even variables, like what the fuck, this doesn't work. Variables and functions are part of object-oriented programming, and you have to do that at first. Okay, so this sequence is totally important. Okay, and this is what makes you confident as well. So this brings you from, I don't understand code, I'm frustrated with the learning curve, to, no, I understand how it all comes together. I can read and write any code that I want to. Okay. With the right sequence, you go from guessing to building what gives you confidence. Okay. So, but of course, you might get stuck if you don't find the right tutorial. That's why I have something for you in the end to get further. Just stick with me for another few minutes. Okay. So this is Gabriela. She's one of our heroes in our WebGIS Pro Academy. Most probably, or maybe you have seen her on LinkedIn. She said also she went through Udemy courses, and she's not the only one coming with that into our program, 6-month program, full support. And she said, I went through Udemy courses and I could create a function, but I didn't actually understand what it really does. This structure made everything click. I 100% got it now. She was creating that beautiful piece here of WebGIS application, just a little part of that, but she got so many reactions and you cannot imagine how many potential clients are inside that number, okay, for freelancing projects. So these guys, not just Gabriela, other people as well that are in our academy, they didn't think they could code either. These weren't programmers. They were GIS users just like me in the beginning, just like you. They were stuck. They were overwhelmed, unsure. What changed wasn't their intelligence or something like that. Okay, it was simply the structure. That was everything. Just what's going on outside there? Too many tools, too much confusion. Okay, most people feel stuck because of things like, I don't know where to start. there are too many libraries and frameworks. Which one is the right one to start with, or which one should I use for WebGIS development? These are valid concerns, but they don't mean you can't build. It just mean you need a clear, straightforward path. And this is the roadmap that I'm going through with my people. Okay. At first, we start with the fundamentals, with how does WebGIS basically work? Simply the architecture, browser side, server side, and how things are flowing in between. Okay, simply a request and response. When you have these words already, then you're 95% further than many other people out there. Okay, so you want to start with that one, that you understand like how you can make every data flow. Okay, and this just takes actually 10-15 minutes explaining that. Okay, so then you want, on the browser side, you want to understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the core technologies for WebGIS. Okay, everything is built on that. Even if you use React later on, you're still using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript inside that, guys. Okay, if you haven't learned that right, React will always feel like a fucking hustle. Okay, and it's just 10 elements in HTML that you will just use over and over again. And when you have learned that, you can easily use the other guys as well. There are about 8-10 concepts in JavaScript and CSS that you have to understand. And after that, you can even use every other guys as well. Then JavaScript, 10-15 elements around that I've shown you. And then you can read and write any code, okay, that you want to do browser side. From there, you want to go into the WebGIS libraries. And I know you want to do the cool stuff right away. I wanted to do that in the beginning as well. And this totally fucks us up and takes all of our time, okay, and will leave us stuck. I was starting with WebGIS libraries as well right from the beginning, and I saw this doesn't work. So I had to understand fundamentals, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then going into WebGIS libraries. And then from there, it doesn't become anymore like I'm learning 100,000 examples of what I can do with WebGIS libraries. This is total bullshit. From there, it becomes like I understand how I use a WebGIS library. You don't learn it anymore. You just are using that. What's the difference? In JavaScript, there's this concept of object-oriented programming. Okay, objects. WebGIS libraries and all of the other libraries, mostly they're using objects, like a map, for example, like a feature layer, like a geometry engine with analysis functionalities. Okay, let's take with a feature layer. Feature layer has properties and methods, and these properties are nothing else than variables, okay, like the data itself. And methods are nothing else than functions. So things that are doing calculations, or when you think about a feature layer, adding features, removing features, querying features, okay, these are functions. And you're using these objects, these functionalities all of the time, okay? And when you understand that, you don't have to go through any video anymore, okay? You just look up, you can Google the functionality. If you see, okay, ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript doesn't have it, Lebat doesn't have it, OpenLayers doesn't have it, or whatever, I will just program it with my JavaScript knowledge myself now. 10-15 elements, okay, that's it, that I've learned. I can program all my ideas now inside that one, or if it is there, I will just use it, okay? That's how it works. And you don't have to watch millions of sample codes or copy them and don't know how to tweak them. Of course, sample codes are still great. They will accelerate a lot of things. Also AI later on, okay? But you must understand what this fucking code is about and if it's right or wrong, or if it does make sense at all, okay? So often they will not give you like error checking and stuff like that, but it's too important, okay? Or I have seen AI applications that have sent like emails of people to the front end and everyone could just read it who was familiar with opening the browser tools and checking the code inside there, okay? Then you can just have all the emails. So it's very dangerous, okay? Make sure that you always understand that. And it's just 10-15 elements. And you can learn that in 2 days, 3 days, if you have like 8 hours currently, or if you want to spread it a little bit more. Usually my people do it in 1 month, maybe 1.5 if they want to take a little bit more time. Okay, that's it. Like when you have only an hour a day or something like that. So, and from there, you want to go into the server side. Okay, so this part is the browser side. This is what you're using with your HTML pages and stuff like that, with your web pages. So basically, your WebGIS application is nothing else than a web page with a map inside. Okay, a dynamic map usually. You can also make it static that people cannot move it. Okay, it's totally up to you, but often people can move something like doing interactions with it. Then you go into the server side to fulfill this whole thing and become the full stack developer if you want it. Often people start with the first one here to create something cool already and seeing their confidence raising up and having a lot of fun. Then you want to go often into the server side to create full systems. And there you see in the top, this is nothing else than GIS desktop programming, Python, GeoPandas, GDA. Okay. But to connect this to the front end, you need a web framework in between that. For example, use Django, use Flask, use Node.js, and you can even continue with JavaScript here on the server side. The only thing that you have to understand is the architecture, how the data is flowing through these guys. And that's everything. Okay, it's usually very simple. A lot of tutorials I know don't even show that one to people. Like they show the steps, basically how to set things up. But most of us, it's cool when we have a graphic, like how things are flowing through that. And with that, you understand totally, okay, hey, wait, Node.js is basically working totally the same. And Next.js and Flask API, they're totally working the same eventually. Okay. It just, Django has a few more functionalities and that's basically it. And it has, again, objects inside with properties and functionalities, methods, they say. So that one, but basically functionalities. How do I connect my PostGIS database or a fancy DuckDB database? Okay, that's very simple. They're working behind the scenes. Or how you're using them, they're pretty much the same. Very similar. Then, of course, after you have learned this cool technical stuff, now you're confident, you've created your own hero app, you call something that solves a real world problem. Of course, you want to understand how can I use this cool stuff in my career, make the life that I actually want to have. Like, I want to have a great job. I want to start freelancing. I want to have my own business. I want to sell applications like, having passive income. I want to have a fulfilled life, do traveling whenever I want, wherever I want. Okay. And having more time for myself, for my family. Okay. And this is what I will show you also in a few seconds, how you get there eventually. So the power of the right stack is basically simple, but it doesn't mean that you're limited. With this stack, you can basically create everything you want. Okay. Simple means you're just focused. You know exactly what you have to learn, where you have to go, and that's it. The right tools in the beginning give you momentum. They will bring you on the road. Exactly. Yes, I'm learning the right thing. And later on, when I understand how they work, like what they are doing, how these objects work, how the data is flowing through it, you can, in like going in 30 minutes from Django to Node.js, for example, in 30 minutes. And you don't have to learn 100 examples or millions, the better. You have just to understand how these technologies basically to use, how you make the data flow through it. That's everything. Okay. So you can always exchange that like you're changing your car, okay? Or another car, some car, okay? You will be able to exchange them anytime by changing a car, okay? That's what I wanted to say. So they finally got clarity in action. This is one other hero of our WebGIS Pro Academy. This is Bruno. He said, I needed guidance, clear structure. Now it all makes sense. So this isn't theory, okay? These people use this roadmap and made it real, getting paid, getting hired, and gaining confidence, okay? And the projects and the life that they actually wanted to have. And now the thing is projects greater than tutorials. This means you can go through these tutorials. Often they're showing you something very fancy. In the end, you will create something useless. 100% useless in the end. Okay, sorry to say that, but it's often just put this shit inside, put that shit in. It actually doesn't solve anything. What is important is to get projects, to get hired, that you create a real world WebGIS application that solves a real world fucking problem. Okay. It means one hero WebGIS application that solves a real world problem in your niche. What that is, we'll come to that in a few minutes. 1 to supporting apps to show range. Okay. Like environmental dashboard, route planner. This beats 100 half-finished tutorials in your portfolio. Okay. Because why? Because people understand you can take a real world problem and create a real world WebGIS application. And with the roadmap that I've shown you here, you will be 100% be able to do that. Okay. This is the point. And of course, I'm there. For example, if you come later into our WebGIS Pro Academy, I'm there. We will find what is a real world problem, what has to be solved. Okay. And then we will point you to the right people that want to work with you. Okay. So your 12-month or your 6-month actually can look like this. If you want to take more time, this is actually a 6-month meant here. Learn the core WebGIS stack. Okay. Build one hero application. Usually our people do that in 6 months. I don't know why it brought me a 12-month, but it's 6 months. And then you can use them for better WebGIS development roles, freelancing projects, and as the base for your own product. Okay. This is 6 months here, 12 months. Usually people doing it in 6 months. So the final question is, can I really make money with WebGIS development? Will anyone pay me to do this? Do I need years of experience to land my first job? You guys have heard it. I already told it to you. These are valid fears, okay, but they can be solved. So let me show you how. At first, told you want like to pick a niche, okay, like where do you want to solve problems? Where are problems in GIS basically, and where do they need WebGIS applications? For example, research, environmental science, smart cities, infrastructure, a lot of money inside here, e-commerce, delivery, also pretty good. Health and emergency planning, pretty okay, but unfortunately, people don't spend a lot of money inside that one. But after you've mastered one of these, you can be the one who's helping these guys eventually. Okay, and this is, what we do. So, remote sensing and satellite apps, real estate and property platform, logistic fleet management. These two guys are crazy. Okay, if you go into that one, there's a lot of money inside, and you can have a parade like with everything that you want, all of the freedom. You're your own boss. You determine with who you want to work. You create the solutions for these guys, and they have a lot of problems. So mobile and location-based apps is very general. Okay, so these industries are all powered by WebGIS, GSS itself as well, of course, and they all need solutions like developers like you. And there, of course, three paths to turn your skills into income. One is landing a job as a WebGIS developer, for example, at an environmental consultancy firm, start as a freelancer, okay, or going deeper as a freelancer, 5K to 100K projects is the norm, okay? Building WebGIS applications, selling your own tool. For example, software as a service app sold to 5 or 10 clients, like a really big project. Of course, I'm not talking about a simple solution here or something will give you an amazing passive income. Of course, it can also build something small and sell this to 1 million of users. Okay, that's also cool. Like if you think about Komoot, for example, this is this hiking app and stuff like that. They're earning very well. Okay, so they found a cool problem that people have. They created a really nice application that people are willing to pay for it. And that's everything. Okay. And you can find that. Okay. There are ways on finding these things. You just have to have an idea and then ask people what they want. And they will actually tell you. Okay. They will actually tell you. So these are the three paths my students follow. And all three starts with one thing: confidence and a real WebGIS app you can show. So basically your hero app. Okay. How this translates to jobs freelance. If you want a job, okay, your hero app plus your portfolio, and people understand this person can own a WebGIS application feature end to end. Okay, so from the problem to the solution. Okay, this is what people want to understand when they are interviewing you. Okay, freelance, same application framed around the client's problem. Okay, your LinkedIn CV must say, I built WebGIS tools that solve a specific problem. Okay, not just GIS Analyst. Okay, this is what people have to understand, that you can do this stuff. Okay. So what works across all three paths basically is build your first application, your hero application, focus on a niche. From there, you will be at least a WebGIS developer, be a WebGIS developer in logistics or environmental science or something like that, like help people with specific problems, mining companies, making the right decisions, stuff like that. Post it on LinkedIn, GitHub. People will find you. They will post. They will love your post. They will comment. They will like it. Love also, but like it. Most of them are liking it. The technology people, and then yeah, you will reach out to them. Okay, use ACA framework if you have never heard about it. Just Google that for now. Land your first client, enroll with that one, expand from there, and build a pipeline that brings in clients not once, but consistently. Okay. And this is what we have for you guys. So you don't need to be a genius. You don't need 5 years, 6 months are a serious working time frame. Okay. This is exactly what's more than enough. You just need one working project and the strategy to move forward. Most people quit after 5 rejections, but the ones who win, they just stay longer in the game. Okay. I don't say the first 5 people will be your clients, but the 6 or 7 one can be it already. Okay. So usually when you talk with 100 people, the right people, when you have your niche, okay, and we help you on this, then it means you might have already 10 clients. Okay. And 100 people is nothing. You can either write them in 3-4 days with the right framework. Okay. And not just bothering them. Hey, I'm doing that. Can I help you? This really fucks up people, but the ACA framework that I mentioned. Okay, but check it after this call, what it means. ACA framework for reaching out. This is something that you can Google. So what's next? You have seen what's possible when you understand how WebGIS really works. Okay, when you can really do this. I mean, when you understand how WebGIS really works and development, you have seen how others just like you went from confusion to clarity, from tool users to confident developers. So now the only question is, what's next for you, right? So to get your first real WebGIS application, you have seen there's demand, the roadmap, and free income path. Option A is to keep trying random tutorials alone. Okay, option B is to do this 5-hour self-paced with full support, with my full support. If you're serious about your first app, take option B and enroll now. Basically, we have for you the WebGIS Ascension workshop. Okay, self-paced, build your first or next real-world WebGIS application in 5 focused hours, okay, and get 7 days of support access so you don't get stuck, okay? The price is very simple to get you guys started on this one, $47. You can basically find this here on this webpage. I will give that to you. There's everything you need. Scroll down, put in your information here, join the WebGIS Essential Workshop. We will give you access right away, okay? This is where you can start. So join the WebGIS Essential Workshop, build your first or next real WebGIS app, get 7 days of price 47. This is what I said. If you're not ready for the workshop yet, I think most of you guys here are in our community. There might be some very new ones if you're not here in our WebGIS community actually yet, because I know we have some of you in our email list, but I gave you the link here. Join my free WebGIS community, of course. We have live sessions there, replays, Q&A. Perfect. If you're still exploring, okay, then join us here, school.com WebGIS. If you're serious, then just come here to the workshop and create your real WebGIS applications, understand how this all comes together in detail, everything that I've shown you today in detail, getting really hands-on understanding how to pick your niche, how to behave out there. We have everything inside. Okay, how to talk to people. Everything is there for jobs, freelance, or even selling your apps. Okay, all covered there in 5 focused hours, self-paced. Okay, so thanks, guys, for your time, and it was a great time with you, Oluwa. Thanks, guys, for being here today. See you later, guys. See you around and every time ask any question. Bye bye.